everybody, welcome to my August wrap-up. I'm Charlotte. Welcome back to my channel. I really hope you're doing well. If you are, comment it down below, or if you aren't, also comment it down below. I would love to speak to you. But today, as I mentioned, we're doing the August wrap-up. This one will be a little complicated because I don't really have any of the books with me. I literally have one out of the 7 books that I read here with me physically because I read most of them at my hometown, in my room at my hometown. Now I'm in my new apartment, so I only read one while being here, so it makes it a little complicated. I'll just put the pictures up kind of right here. That's why I'm more at the side. So yeah, I read 7 books, some really good ones, some ones I didn't like as much as I thought that I was going to like, which was a little disappointing. That's all I really have to say. Let's jump into it. Oh, hey guys. We're gonna act like this isn't a week later from when I originally filmed this video. Put on the same shirt so we can just pretend together. But I forgot a book. I don't know how I forgot this book. I said 7 in the beginning and then I completely skipped 1 because I finished it on August 1st, but I didn't read it during August. I don't really know what to say for myself, but it's The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I gave this book 4 stars, I think. Wasn't everything I wanted. Wasn't everything I needed. I thought the middle plot twist was really good. And then by the end, you're kind of piecing it together, and it is kind of wild, and it does have some good topics in it, and some very interesting commentary, like social commentary in it. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. That's the thing, because everybody hypes up Lucy Foley's writing a lot. And I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to feel manipulated. I wanted to feel like somebody betrayed my family and dug my name through the mud. I wanted to feel that strongly about the book. And even during the middle plot twist, I was like, oh, okay. And I just every kind of reveal was, oh, okay for me. Didn't love it, also didn't hate it. It was good. It's a good thriller mystery. It didn't give what I thought it was going to give, I guess. So yeah, this is the end of Future Charlotte. The rest of this video is filmed on that day. I forgot this book somehow. It's fine. We're fine. Now I'm gonna be talking about the first book I read chronologically. Not correct. So in the next clip, I'm wrong, but it's okay. Alright, so I'm going to go in chronological order. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I gave this book 5 stars. It's one of my new favorite romances, just because I'm a big rom-com fan. I love rom-coms. So just reading something that reminded me so much of my beloved rom-coms was really nice for me. I really loved it. I think that the relationship that was in this book was beautiful. I loved watching them kind of fall in love with each other. I love a good rivals to lovers story, and that's exactly what this was, but with a little twist to it, which you would know if you read it. So I highly recommend this book. I thought it was great. I can't wait to read more of Lynn Painter's work because this was really good to me. One of my favorites. All right, the next book that I read was You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao. So I gave this book 4 stars because I didn't really feel the way that I was supposed to feel about the book, I think. I was very connected to the romance, but I don't know. The time flips were difficult for me to kind of connect together. I don't really know how to describe why I didn't love it the way that I thought that I was going to love it. I did cry. I cried a lot. But I think that I'm kind of in the phase of my life where reading books to cry isn't as fun, or at least right then. When I was reading it, I wasn't really in the right headspace to read something just to be sad. And that's kind of what this book was a really sad book. It was beautiful. And the process of the morning, watching her go through the stages of grief was really, really beautiful. And it was really sad towards the end. Really difficult to read, but it was good. I did like it. I don't think that I was in the proper headspace to read it. And it was right after I got into a reading slump. I got into a reading slump the majority of the summer. So around this time was when I was trying to get back into reading more. So I don't know. It took me a long time to read. It took me almost a month to read this book. Probably not the right time. I think that if I was in a better headspace when I read it, I would have enjoyed it more. The next book that I read is I Kiss Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my new favorites. I know that not everybody gave this book 5 stars and not everybody loved this book, but for some reason, it was like amazing to me. There's academic lovers to rivals. There's a good mystery plot. It's kind of just, it reminds me of Looking for Alaska, but queer. And Looking for Alaska by John Green, you would know what I'm talking about. I don't know, I just loved the way that the story was told. I loved the way that we kind of solved it. And then there's twists and turns and different other side plots that were just as important and just as like impactful. Like the religious trauma aspect I really related to. So that was like another thing for me that I was like, yeah, that hits a little too close to home, but in a good way. One thing that I would say is I kind of wish the romance that we got was a little bit more developed, just a little bit. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of their journey. I wanted to see more of them falling in love with each other. They were kind of already into each other, but they just didn't realize it and they didn't want to like admit it kind of thing. So I would really love for the two main interests, the two main loves of this book, to have gotten a little bit more time to see a little bit more of the after rather than the before. I feel like I always kind of crave the after because I love when people are happy in relationships. So yeah, that's my only qualm with it, but other than that, I really loved this book. And I highly recommend it if you love queer romance, if you want to see yourself represented in good ways. I would say this is a great book for that. The next book that I read is Mooncakes by Suzanne Walker. So I loved this book. It was a graphic novel and I read it on my phone and it was really quick, very fast read. I read it in like 3 hours maybe, and that was with breaks. I loved this book. It's very witchy, very fall. I highly recommend this for the fall season. The art style was beautiful. There's so many like snippets of the book that I like screenshotted. I was like, this is beautiful. I just want this. And I really want it as a physical copy now because of how much I loved it. There's witches, there's werewolves, there's evil magical cults. Like, I don't know. Very fun. Also has some queer romance in it that you get to see. So you love that. Has some non-binary rep as well. So that's really beautiful. Love to see it. I really loved the book. I gave it 5 stars. So I highly recommend it and I think that you should definitely check it out. The second to last book that I read in August was Clockwork Angel from the Infernal Devices, the very first book. I gave this book 5 stars. It's obviously a new favorite. I love the Shadowhunters universe and I'm just kind of dipping my toe in. I've read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments. Now I'm reading the Infernal Devices and then I'm going to go back to the Mortal Instruments. That's how it's supposed to work, I think. So I'm kind of taking this one slow because I know that I'm going to love it, and I also got spoiled for something that happens in the end or some things that happen in the end that I just really don't want to happen. So I kind of am slowly going through the series. I'm going to start reading the second one. I already started reading the second one. I'm currently reading the second one, but I'm only like 20% through. So I'm gonna kind of push onto that a little bit more later. If you haven't read Clockwork Angel or the Infernal Devices, what are you doing? It's so good, and I knew it was going to be good. I just don't want it to be over, which is why I'm reading it so slowly. But I love Jem. I love Will. I love Tessa. I love all of the characters. Like, there's not a certain character that I'm like, oh, you kind of suck. I'm not the biggest fan of Jessamine, but like, you know, I don't know. She's all right. She's okay. I don't dislike her, but you know, I want her to have some character growth at least. So yeah, love the book. Love the little romance subplot. I also love the main plot. I find it so intriguing that Tessa has this power that nobody's heard of before. She's trying to figure it out. I love the like way that she uses her powers in the book. I love the betrayals that happen in the book. Like, it is fire. This is a great book. So if you haven't read The Infernal Devices, get on it. I swear you'll love it. So the last book that I read for August was Carrie by Stephen King. I actually have it this time because I read it here. I got it here in my college town. So I gave this book 3 stars. And the only reason why I gave it 3 stars is because I think the concept is really brilliant, and I think that the adaptations that this created are really great in some of my favorite horror movies. But there's some major problems with the book. Lots of problematic elements, which you would assume because this was written in the 70s. This is Stephen King's first book. So I'm not excusing it, but I was expecting it. I went into this book expecting to be disappointed by some moral strifes, you know? There's some things that are in this book that just don't need to be in the book. The way that he talks about women doesn't need to happen. So those were some major problems that I had with the book. I was really happy when Carrie kind of did her destruction scene. That was good. I loved the plot of like the telekinesis and like the way that it goes back and forth between the after, where people are writing about it, and the before and the like during. I think that was really cool. I gave it 3 stars because I thought it was a pioneer for like the horror genre, but I can't really stand for the moral problems that are in this book, and the way that they talk about minorities. Didn't like that at all. I hated that, and I kind of had to like put it aside to even enjoy the book slightly. So definitely 3 stars. I would honestly maybe 2.5, probably lower than higher. Like, I can appreciate it for what it is, but I cannot look past fully what the problems are because they're just so bad. This is my first Stephen King book, and it is his first book. So I'll be delving into some more Stephen King during fall, and hopefully this goes away with time, the way that he talks about women, the way that he talks about other minority groups. Like, I just hope that that's not in every single book and it's not a theme in every single book, because I just can't stand it. I hate it. I hate reading books that have those problematic elements in it, obviously. It got like a 2.5, 3 stars from me, and only that because it was such a pioneer, and I kind of think of Carrie as like the adaptations later. Like, I think it was 2013 with Chloe Grace Moretz. Love that movie. I think it's the best depiction of what the book is too. I think it does it really well. So I'm kind of giving it a higher rating than I usually would for something as problematic, because I'm trying to look past it a little bit to look onto like the newer versions where it's not as problematic, or it's not as bad, you know, it turned into something good. I think if he wrote this now, hopefully it would be better. That's my review of Carrie. Obviously it wouldn't be good because it's just too problematic, man. I don't know. Read it at your own risk. Like, if you are planning on reading this book, go into it knowing that you will be heavily disappointed at how problematic it is. Well, that is it for this video. I feel like this flew by because I didn't really read that much this month. 7 books is a lot, honestly, in retrospect, but I've read more in other months. I'm kind of hoping that September and the fall seasons, once school kind of settles down again, will be better for my reading. My fall TBR will be up next Wednesday, the 14th. So keep an eye out for that, where I will be talking about all of the books that I plan to read, because I'm not planning on doing monthly TBRs. I'm going to do monthly wrap-ups like this video to talk about the books that I've read, but I'm not good at anticipating what I'm gonna read, because sometimes I'm just like, I want to read this for fun, you know? So I'm not gonna box myself into some books and expect myself to read them, because then I'll feel forced to. And the fun part about reading for me is the choice and the different worlds that you get to explore, and just like the impulsivity of like reading something new that you weren't expecting to read. The fall TBR will kind of be all of the books that I'm planning on reading during the fall season over the course of the 3 or 4 months of fall. I'll probably do fall, winter, spring, summer, you know, with books that kind of fit into that vibe. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you like the format. Any feedback that you want to give, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear your thoughts. What did you read during August? What was your favorite book? What was your least favorite book? My favorite book was probably Clockwork Angel. My least favorite book was Carrie. So back to back, favorite, least favorite. What are you reading right now? Anything like that. Tell me anything that you want in the comments. Would love to chat with you. I'll respond to all of them. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, give it a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.